Hi, this is Matt Donegan from Business Spotlight. I'm here with Dave from Branded Bricks. Dave, tell me something about yourself and your business, please.
Good morning. So who am I? So I'm Dave Hunt, business director over at Branded Bricks. My core job, I guess, if I'm putting a job title on it, is business development and business growth. That's been the story of my career from the point I left university, and it's something I've enjoyed doing throughout my working life, and more latterly for myself when we started Branded Bricks.
Great. So how long has the business been going?
So Branded Bricks itself has actually only been operating for 4 years. We launched the business just before the lockdowns. So that was an interesting journey for us as business owners, navigating our way through the turmoil that affected most businesses through that lockdown. But thankfully, we came out of it stronger. And the business now is going through a significant growth stage, which is really exciting.
Okay. So tell me the services that you provide.
So as a business, we operate outsourced property management. So as a concept, that's probably a little unusual to your audience. So let me just explain it in a little bit of detail. So we work on behalf of estate and letting agents throughout the country that want to offer a letting service that don't necessarily want to have the staff costs internally. So they can partner with Branded Bricks. We operate a fully white labeled service. So what that means is we operate in their name. So for all intents and purposes, we become the property management business, or the property management arm, should I say, for their business, which allows them to offer a fully rounded service without all of the additional costs. Okay. Outsourcing within the estate agency, estate and letting industry has become more and more prevalent over the years. And it's something that Preeti and I, my co-director, decided to tap into.
Okay. What made you target that market then? Did you have lots of experience in that sector and then you spotted the opportunity, or how did it come around?
Of course. So in essence, Preeti and I worked together in a previous business, providing outsourced property management solutions. And I myself have worked within the property industry since I was 21. Straight out of university, working within various different industries, estate agency, letting agency, offering ancillary services to estate and letting agents. So it just seemed like a natural extension to what I'd already been doing throughout my career, to then be able to set up a business with Preeti to offer these services into that marketplace, utilizing our contacts and our experiences.
Okay. And tell me something, how do you split up the workload between the two different directors? Is one, because what you sometimes see is that one is sales and distribution and the other one is product and brand. Is that how it works for you guys, or do you work differently?
We work slightly differently. So Preeti, by her background, she's very much from a finance background. So finance and operations very much is, for want of a better phrase, her bag. She is very, very detail driven, and she very much focuses on the individual minutiae of the business. Whereas I'd love to say I come from the same background, but no. I've always been in sales and development of businesses, so I'm very much high level, and also very much into kind of client relationships and growing and developing businesses, looking at different products and services that we can provide and how we might be able to launch those into the market. So actually, when Preeti and I decided to partner and come up with this business concept, it was very, very simple to divide the responsibilities, because we both come at it from a very different angle, and our skill sets certainly help each other. And where perhaps I have shortcomings, she has not so much, and where she has shortcomings, I have not so much. So actually, as a partnership, it works very, very well.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, having a finance and operations function inside a business is critical. So you made a good choice there, clearly.
Absolutely.
How do you set yourself aside from the competition in the marketplace? I mean, you've got a really cool website, you've got clear, defined branding, but that's not all that's going to set you aside in the marketplace. How else do you do it?
Absolutely. So, with the product that we offer, it's quite difficult to differentiate ourselves from any other provider in the market, in that lettings is lettings. There's a very detailed and methodical way in which you have to manage the process, as it were, because there's lots of legislative bits that we have to adhere to, from health and safety, etc., etc. But how do we differ? Well, I think it's all down to our people ultimately, and I think that the way that we operate is slightly different in that we offer single point of contact the whole way through a life cycle for our business partners, for our tenants, and for our landlords. So that adds to the cohesion. Everyone understands there's a single point of responsibility, and also that leads to completer finisher. So ultimately, the individual that's given a task, it's their sole responsibility to get that through. We also provide a robust background. So while there might be a single point of contact, we have a very good team in the background that will work alongside that assigned property manager that's looking after our individual clients. So there's a lot of things that happen silently in the background that differentiate us. And there are a lot of key performance indicators that we use to manage our business, to make sure that we're providing the service that we expect to provide, but ultimately our clients expect to receive.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, understood. So what's been the business growth like? Has it been steady incline? Has it been a hockey stick, or has it been a roller coaster? How's it been for you guys?
Absolutely. So when Preeti and I, in essence, white papered the business, we wanted the business to be self-financing. So it started with a director's loan, and it very much was a director's loan. And as I mentioned to you, we launched the business just before COVID. So that didn't help our growth in any significant way. But certainly coming out of COVID, we've had a steady and methodical growth pattern. And that's very much the way that we wanted to do it. We didn't want to be all things to all men. We didn't want to, in essence, sign up so many clients where you're hoisted by your own success. And I've worked in businesses in the past where, you've taken on lots of new clients, but actually the service then deteriorates. So we've been very, very steady. We've been very, very regimented in our recruitment process of new clients, and also our recruitment process of staff, because ultimately those staff are the key to the client's success. Because yes, okay, we can put in all of the key performance indicators, we can put in everything in the background, but ultimately our people are the ones that keep our clients happy, delivering and growing themselves. And so, our journey has been a steady, methodical growth, but that's very much the way that we wanted it to be. We're in a period now where we've kind of gotten through all of the kind of headaches of putting the right processes and the right procedures in place. That was probably within the first 2 years of our life cycle. And now we've got a very clear pattern of how we can deliver growth and keep clients satisfied as we move through that process. Yeah. And sometimes that's delaying the launch, and sometimes a launch of a new client, because what we need to do is make sure we've got the capacity to bring them on board. And actually, in reality, I think if you're open and honest with clients and they realize that that's the route you're going down, then they're actually agreeable, because ultimately, if we're operating a white labeled service, it's their name above the door, not necessarily ours. And the last thing we want to do is promise all things to all men and deliver a service that's far, far, far below our expectations.
Yeah, okay, that's very sensible. In terms of the challenges for the business, we often look at 3 key areas, and sometimes they're all intertwined, but often there's a focus in one particular challenge in the business. And that usually comes down to focusing the right time and resource into a business in the right place. Cash, generating enough income and cash flow, or building out team. Have you had any challenges around that? Are you experiencing those challenges? How's the landscape for you at the moment?
I think every business owner has those challenges. It's the joys of growing a business. And what your first point there is, focusing the right attention on the right areas and things like that. I think one of the things that, or one of the sayings that I always come back to is spending too much time in the business rather than on the business. And it's important that you carve out the right amount of time in a week, in a month, however you do it, but stick regimented to those times that you've given yourself for working on the business. As a business owner, you can get dragged into far too many things, and what you've got to do is trust the team around you, and growing out the team. So that's again one of the things that is always a challenge: finding the right people that are going to come on that journey with you and getting the buy-in from them. And thankfully, we've got a team that is amazing. They've been with us for a very long time in terms of our business journey, but also some of those people have worked with us in previous businesses. So I guess we've been quite fortuitous that we've had a little black book of people that, when we started our business, we were like, okay, when we get to that stage, we're going to go and try and get that person. When we get to that stage, we're going to try and get that person.
Nice.
And that's helped us. And that has allowed us to be confident in the team that we've got there. They've helped us grow and develop the business, and they are a very tight and close-knit business team, and they all help each other along the way. And of course, cash is always king. With every business owner's got to keep a very close eye on what's coming in, what's going out. And and as I'm coming back to one of my earlier points, we want our business to be self-funding. We don't want to go into debt in any way. The business is strong. It's got a decent cash flow. So from our point of view, when we're factoring in and we're putting our business plans together, of course, we have sales targets, which then should ultimately generate the income, which then allows us to make the strategic decisions.
Yeah. Okay. Really wise, balanced growth is what you're talking about there. It's very interesting that you say about recruiting people from previous environments. One of the things that venture capitalists look at when they deploy funds is one of the questions they might ask the founders is, who are you hiring next? And they want a name. They don't just want a position, they want a name. They want to know who's the talent that you're bringing in, not the role, but the talent. And so it's really wise to do that. It's very clever, actually. So are you guys on track for your growth goals? I mean, I know you're doing it really steadily. So
this year's looking quite interesting. We've got a few decent irons in the fire at the moment, and if 2 or 3 of those come off, we'll be exceeding our growth expectations. We'll be further ahead than we thought we would be at this point in this year. So it's looking good. The future's looking okay. We're quite pleased with where we're at. I say with a wry smile. It's everything is looking on track for 2024, which is great.
Excellent. So over the last 4 years, actually we'll go back further because you've been in business a while in other iterations. What's the number one lesson that you've learned?
In business itself, I would say that listen. You've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. There are some fantastic people out there. I said I started within property at 21. The guy that I started working for there, I worked on and off for probably 15 years in various different. So his business was quite small when I first joined him. I left, I came back, I left, I came back. And he was a fantastic business mentor. He trusted me, he grew me, he developed me. And I would say that listening, grabbing opportunities, making yourself valuable.
Okay, that's great. Like that. And I'm guessing by the fact that you said something to me earlier on about working on the business, not just in the business. I'm guessing that you've read a few business books and you've taken in some business knowledge and business education. Do you have a favorite business book?
Do you know what? One of the most interesting courses I ever did was a Dale Carnegie course.
Right.
I was lucky enough to be sent out to the US. So the chap I mentioned there, his business got purchased by a US based company. A big US based company, and they took a few people from the UK from a couple of the businesses that they purchased and took them out to Santa Ana in California to do a Dale Carnegie course over a course of a week. That was fantastic. That was a really, really good opportunity. And I studied business and marketing as a degree at university over in Sheffield. So yeah, lots of different influences. I'd say that was probably one of the standout courses that I did, because everything was relevant, everything was could be adapted, and the chap that delivered the course was fantastic.
I bet. I mean, anything that wraps around Dale Carnegie, you look at, that the main book as being one of the sort of guiding principles for so many businesses, and I think so many other business books came off the back of Carnegie's writing. So brilliant. Yeah, love it. Any other tips? Any other books that you fancy out there? Any other podcasts you like listening to?
Well, do you know what? Content is so available nowadays. So, there'll be the occasional TED Talk that I'll listen to. There'll be some mindfulness podcasts that I might listen to. There's such a diverse amount of information that you can get. And often when I'm in the car, so I'll save up various different things, and I'll listen to various different podcasts. I'll listen to various different talks and things like that. And also looking outside of industry. Clive Woodward wrote a fantastic book when England won the Rugby World Cup. There was some interesting things there. I've recently gone to the Royal Albert Hall to listen to an Arnold Schwarzenegger talk on his new book that he's just released, Making Yourself Useful. And it's just listen to the content that's out there. There's some fantastic people out there delivering some fantastic content, and it's all so readily available nowadays, where you don't necessarily have to pick up a book, because if you're driving for an hour and a half, pop something on for half an hour, listen to it, digest it, and then move on to something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely. There's so much great content out there now, easy to find. But the thing that I'm getting from this is that your business growth will never stop, because you're always
Absolutely.
yourself, and your business, and you will grow and develop as the business moves forward. So that's brilliant.
Stop learning. Never stop learning.
Have you got any plans you'd like to share? Any news that Branded Bricks is up to at the moment?
So obviously we've mentioned there the growth that's coming alongside. So that's really where our kind of primary focus is at the moment, because that all comes with recruitment, training, development of the internal staff, and then as our business grows a little bit further, we've then got the fun and exciting times of adding the various different layers of management, so that Preeti and I can stop doing some of the day-to-day operational things, and start really focusing on growing and developing the business. So that's quite exciting. We've got another project that we're working on in the background that's still quite quiet and under wraps at the minute, but it could be quite an interesting thing for us as business owners.
Okay, all right. So
I can't divulge that too much at the minute, because it's still in its development and infancy stage.
Right. Well, look, thanks.
Watch this space, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, thanks for telling me all that. Now I need to watch this space, find out what Branded Bricks is going to be up to in the next months or years, and then keep a track on it. So Dave, thanks so much for your time today. Really appreciated it. It's really wonderful to hear about your business journey. I like the state of growth that you've got, your growth mindset, both for business and personally. I think it's fantastic. Thanks so much for your time. Let's keep in contact, see how Branded Bricks grows, and we'll take it from there.
Look forward to it, and thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.